Hey you guys, welcome back to my kitchen. Today I'm going to do something a little bit different. I'm going to take you on a tour of my kitchen. So I'm going to show you where I keep everything, how I store all of my different baking ingredients, and really just how I kind of function in this space, because I think that from your perspective this seems like it's a pretty big kitchen, but in reality this is just a majority of my living room and my kitchen in my small New York apartment. So I'm going to give you guys a much more realistic perspective of this space. So as a quick little sneak peek, you guys, this is my wall. This is my entire living room and my kitchen. So you can see here we have our couch, we've got our TV. My lights always kind of stay in that corner, and I have one on right now just to kind of illuminate my kitchen and make things a bit easier to see. But those balloon lights are always out. So we'll take a little tour now into my actual kitchen. So we'll start off with my island here, which not only is amazing for filming, but it also has a ton of cabinet space under it, which is really helpful since I have so much baking supplies. But we have here some great little shelves where I keep all of my different baking rounds, some bowls, and we have my food coloring at the bottom there. And so we can take a quick peek now inside of my cabinets. And I've actually found that it's really amazing keeping things in plastic tubs, just because I have so much stuff, and that really is the easiest way for me to kind of arrange everything. So I have a lot of my miscellaneous supplies in this tub. You can see there's paintbrushes, I know there's edible gold. I also have a cake level in there. Of course I have Ziploc baggies and rubber bands. I have all of my different cookie cutters, a ton of cupcake liners, some silicone mats, all of my different frosting tips in a Tupperware container, some more gel food coloring, if you can believe that. I have an entire tub for chocolate, so there are some Oreos in there, but it's mostly different types of chocolate chips, some cake dowels, and then at the bottom I have a few different cake pans. So while I don't really make cupcakes or pies or cheesecake that often, I do on occasion, so I have a few different types of pans as well. So I have another one of these cabinets right here, and I keep a lot of my ingredients in here. So I have my extra KitchenAid bowl there, you can see me, hi. I have a bunch of powdered sugar. I keep all of my nuts in a separate container, and I guess also my brown sugar, because my fiance is super allergic to tree nuts, so I'm always pretty mindful about that. I have a bunch of sprinkles. Actually, I have another Tupperware in my closet in the hallway, but these are my everyday sprinkles. Tons of sugar and flour. I don't buy in bulk just because, as you guys can see, I do not have the space for it. So I just buy the small bags that you can get at your grocery store. Down here I have some of my larger cake pans. I have some more square pans, extra dish towels, and of course my kitchen scale. So this thing I think is like $10 on Amazon, but any digital scale will work, but it's so important when you're baking to really make sure that you have accurate measurements. So that is all that's down there. I always have some butter on my counter that's kind of like thawing to room temperature. And then I really try to utilize my windowsills as well. So you can see that I have some extra cake stands that I use regularly. My oven mitts are kind of nestled under there. And I also keep my paper towels over there as well. So next we have our fridge, which is actually pretty decently sized. So you can see the top portion is my fridge and the bottom portion is my freezer. So I can give you a quick little tour of what's in here. So I have all of my different baking ingredients in here. I have my egg whites, buttermilk, heavy cream, a little bit of almond milk because I was making a vegan cake this week, some leftover caramel, eggs, things that we actually eat. I guess we need some more ketchup. We're also huge seltzer fans, and I drink a lot of seltzer when I'm baking to try to keep myself from eating so much cake. So we always have a lot of seltzer in there. Some extra egg whites and buttermilk always on deck. Some frosting that's ready for my live stream later this week. And of course, tons of butter. A lot of you ask what I do with my leftover cakes, and the answer is that I cut them up, I shove them into Tupperware, and I take it into work for my coworkers to eat. So I have my vegan cake from earlier, and I also have a funfetti cookie dough cake that I just made. I also have an entire drawer that I keep leftover buttercream in, which is probably a little bit excessive, but I always have a ton on hand, and I'm always looking for a way to repurpose my buttercream. So next we can look quickly at the freezer. So in here, in my top little level, I always like to keep this clean so that way if I'm about to decorate a cake like I am right now, I can pop my layers in there to chill them. It just makes them so much easier to decorate and defrost. Really minimizes the crumbing. In here I have some real food that we eat. So we have some frozen dinners, of course some Halo Top, we have some fun giant ice cubes, and a little bit of edible cookie dough that I had left over. In here I actually have a bag of cake that's frozen that I plan to ship to my sister. And I always keep this bottom level open with a pan in here. So I like to pop my cakes into here when I want to really quickly chill my crumb coat. But I like to set it on a pan just because, as you can see, there's an indent here and it kind of can bend the cardboard rounds. And if you place it on something hard that's nice and flat, that won't happen. So we'll go ahead and close that up. So next we have all of my colorful knives, and I've really accumulated quite an excessive amount of knives. I love matching them to my cakes, and I really love this marble holder that I got for them. I got it at Bed Bath & Beyond, and it's just such a great way to kind of display the knives. It's a fun pop of color in the background of my videos, and it's also nice being able to easily grab them. Before I had them shoved in here and it was just a nightmare trying to find anything. So I got this silverware organizer, which really helps keep track of all of my different forks and knives. I have my spatulas in here too, and then of course the sharp knives are up here. So in the shelf below that I have my most essential baking tools. So I have my different cup measures, a whisk, a candy thermometer, my different piping bags, a bench scraper, always pieces of acetate sheet. I love using it on curved cakes. So I'm sure this cup seems random, but I always put my piping bags in it when I'm filling them just to make life a little easier. So I actually just keep it in with my piping bags to keep everything together. So next we can take a look at my oven. So my oven is actually not a full-sized oven, which is kind of shocking since I bake so much, but it works well. It's pretty tried and true. It gets the job done, but I can barely fit my baking pans, 4 baking pans in there. It's quite a struggle. So I'm really looking forward to the day that I have a full-size oven. That will be a fantastic day. So next we can go up here to this cabinet where I keep my other baking supplies that did not make it into the essential tools drawer. So you can see here I have a different Tupperware that has some really more random items like a honeycomb. I have a little pastry cutter, a cookie scoop, things like that. I also have some 4-inch pans up there. I have a Ninja, and of course I love eating oatmeal, so that's up there too. So next we'll go to our kind of main ingredient cabinet here, which has a lot of good stuff in it too. So at the bottom we have our minimal amount of plates, cups, and bowls. We really never cook in this kitchen. We work late a lot and our schedules just really don't always align, so I really just bake in here. So this is Steven's Snack Corner, but all of my other baking ingredients that I use a lot are on the second shelf as well, like oil, salt, baking powder, non-stick spray. I have some more ingredients on my third shelf. And I also actually have all of my extracts and spices up here too. I can still reach them. It's a little bit of a stretch, but I can get them pretty easily. And then on my top shelf, I have ingredients that I really don't use very often, like molasses or cornstarch, that I definitely need to get out my stool to reach. So that is where I keep all of my other ingredients. And another fun thing about our apartment is actually that we have a dishwasher, which a lot of people have always been really shocked by because they don't understand how it could fit under our sink, right? Like, oh my gosh, on live streams people freak out. So the answer is just that, like, our sink is super shallow, and you can see here that it just kind of, the dishwasher fits in nicely under it. So I don't actually use our dishwasher very often, even though we have one, just because I like washing dishes by hand. I mostly just store pans in here that we don't use very often and that don't fit anywhere else. So that is it. That is my entire kitchen. I hope you guys enjoyed this kind of behind the scenes tour of my kitchen and how I work in my space. If you have any questions that I didn't answer, be sure to leave them in the comment section below. And if you enjoyed this video, be sure that you like it. So I'm going to go ahead and enjoy some of that leftover cake in the fridge, and I hope that I'll see you guys again soon.